On this day in history, we remember the remarkable individuals who shaped our world. Welcome to Who Died Today in History, where we honor their legacies. From artists to leaders, their impact lives on. If you find their stories meaningful, like, subscribe, and hit the bell to stay connected. James Rebhorn, the esteemed character actor known for his roles in Independence Day, Scent of a Woman, and Homeland, passed away on March 21, 2014, at the age of 65. His death was the result of melanoma, a battle he had fought privately for over 2 decades. Unlike the dramatic or sudden departures of some celebrities, Rebhorn's passing reflected a quiet resilience, mirroring the understated but powerful presence he brought to his performances. Rebhorn's career spanned decades, and he became one of Hollywood's most recognizable, yet often unsung talents. His death, while not a cultural earthquake like that of a major superstar, was felt deeply in the entertainment industry. It underscored the reality that actors who often play supporting roles can have an enduring impact, shaping the depth and authenticity of the stories they help bring to life. His passing was a reminder of how the nature of fame in Hollywood often favors leading roles. Yet true talent leaves its mark, regardless of billing. One particularly poignant aspect of Rebhorn's death was his self-penned obituary, in which he expressed gratitude for his life, career, and most importantly, his family. This act of writing his own farewell was a deeply human gesture, reflecting a sense of control over his own narrative, something many public figures never have the chance to do. In an era when social media and instant news dominate public perception, his choice to craft his own legacy emphasized dignity and personal reflection over spectacle. The consequences of his passing were not seismic in a historical sense, but his legacy lives on through his extensive body of work. His ability to embody authority figures, whether stern, calculating, or compassionate, cemented him as an actor who elevated every project he joined. His death reminds us that power in storytelling does not always come from the spotlight, but rather from consistency, craft, and dedication. James Rebhorn's legacy endures in the roles he left behind, the respect of his peers, and the deeply personal farewell he composed. He represents the kind of artist whose contributions shape cultural memory not through scandal or controversy, but through an unwavering commitment to the craft. In a way, his death and self-reflection offer insight into humanity's relationship with mortality, how we define our own stories, and the imprint we leave behind. Barney Martin, best known for his portrayal of Morty Seinfeld on the iconic sitcom Seinfeld, passed away on March 21, 2005, at the age of 82. His death was the result of cancer, a disease that had afflicted him in his later years. As a character actor and comedian, Martin's passing marked the loss of a performer who, while not always in the spotlight, played a significant role in shaping television comedy. Martin's career was a testament to the evolving nature of entertainment in the 20th century. A former police officer, he transitioned into show business, first as a comedy writer and later as an actor. His ability to adapt and thrive in different roles reflected the era's changing attitudes toward entertainment, where comedic talent was increasingly valued in both television and film. His most famous role as Jerry Seinfeld's father resonated with audiences, embodying the classic sitcom parent, opinionated, humorous, and deeply devoted to his family. His character Morty became a fan favorite, with memorable storylines and witty exchanges that contributed to Seinfeld's status as one of the greatest sitcoms of all time. The immediate impact of Martin's death was a wave of tributes from fans and colleagues who recognized his contributions to television. While he was not a household name like some of his Seinfeld co-stars, his performance left a lasting impression, particularly among those who appreciated the show's dry, observational humor. His passing was another reminder of the fleeting nature of fame in the entertainment industry. While sitcoms can make characters immortal, the actors themselves remain human, subject to time and mortality. In a broader sense, Martin's death underscores the way comedy and television serve as cultural markers of their time. Seinfeld, with its sharp wit and observational humor, defined a generation, and Martin's role within it helped shape the archetype of the lovable, stubborn sitcom father. His legacy lives on through reruns and streaming, ensuring that new audiences continue to experience his comedic talents. Ultimately, Martin's passing highlights the way entertainers are remembered, not always as towering figures in history, but as integral parts of cultural touchstones that endure long after their lifetimes. Through art, television, and the fond memories of fans, his contributions remain an enduring part of comedy's rich history. Pocahontas, the Powhatan woman whose name became intertwined with early American history and mythology, died in March 1617 at the age of approximately 21. Her death occurred in Gravesend, England, as she was preparing to return to the American colonies with her husband, John Rolfe, and their young son, Thomas. The exact cause of her death remains uncertain, though theories suggest pneumonia, tuberculosis, or dysentery, common illnesses among travelers and settlers in the harsh conditions of the 17th century. Some accounts also speculate that she may have been poisoned, reflecting the political tensions between the English and indigenous peoples. Pocahontas's passing was emblematic of the broader struggles of Native Americans during European colonization. Having been brought to England as a symbol of peace and propaganda, she was paraded before English society as an example of the supposed civilizing influence of colonization. Her early death, however, underscored the physical and cultural toll such interactions had on indigenous peoples. She had left behind her homeland, her traditions, and her identity, only to succumb to illness in a foreign land, a fate that befell many indigenous people who were forcibly integrated into European society. The immediate consequences of Pocahontas's death were significant yet complex. While she had been used as a diplomatic figure to ease tensions between the Powhatan Confederacy and English settlers, her death weakened the fragile peace. Soon after, relations between the English and the Powhatan deteriorated, leading to increased conflict and bloodshed. Additionally, her husband, John Rolfe, left their son in England to be raised by relatives before returning to Virginia, ensuring that Pocahontas's lineage remained in the Anglo-American world. Pocahontas's legacy has been shaped as much by myth as by history. In literature, art, and film, she is often romanticized as a bridge between cultures, though many depictions distort the reality of her life. The famous legend of her saving Captain John Smith has been widely debated by historians, with some arguing it was a fabrication or a misunderstanding. Yet her story continues to resonate, symbolizing both the promise and the tragedy of early contact between Native Americans and Europeans. Ultimately, Pocahontas's death reminds us of the vulnerability of individuals caught in the tides of history. Though she lived a short life, her image has been immortalized in ways that reflect society's evolving perspectives on colonization, identity, and cultural exchange. Through art, literature, and historical reinterpretation, she remains an enduring figure in the narrative of early America. her name evoking both admiration and reflection on the costs of history's grand transformations. Ron Harper, an American actor known for his roles in television series such as Planet of the Apes, Garrison's Gorillas, and Land of the Lost, passed away at the age of 91. His death was attributed to natural causes, reflecting the inevitable passage of time rather than the dramatic or tragic ends that often characterize the deaths of public figures. Harper's longevity in both life and career was emblematic of a generation of actors who transitioned from classic television into an era of modern storytelling, witnessing firsthand the evolution of the entertainment industry. The immediate consequences of Harper's passing were largely felt within the entertainment community and by fans who had followed his work. Unlike figures whose deaths create political or social upheaval, Harper's departure served more as a moment of reflection on an era of television that shaped the landscape of American pop culture. While not a household name in the way that some of his contemporaries were, his contributions to television ensured that his work remained a part of the medium's history. Harper's death did not necessarily amplify his legend, but did serve as a reminder of the changing tides of Hollywood. His career spanned a period where television was gaining legitimacy as a storytelling medium, and his roles in science fiction and adventure series reflected the public's growing fascination with futuristic and fantastical narratives. His work in Planet of the Apes and Land of the Lost tapped into the cultural curiosity about space, time travel, and dystopian futures, preoccupations that remain dominant in media today. Examining Harper's passing in a broader context, it highlights the reality of mortality and the transient nature of fame. Unlike political figures or revolutionary artists, television actors often experience cycles of recognition and obscurity. However, their contributions to entertainment endure through reruns, streaming platforms, and the nostalgia of dedicated fans. Harper's death serves as a testament to the power of media in preserving legacies, allowing newer generations to discover performances long after an actor has left the stage. The way we immortalize figures like Ron Harper is through continued appreciation of their work. Whether through retrospective documentaries, film preservation efforts, or fan discussions, actors of his generation continue to have a presence even in their absence. His passing serves as a reminder that while individual lives may be finite, the impact of storytelling remains timeless. Willis Reed, an iconic figure in basketball history, passed away on March 21, 2023, at the age of 80 due to congestive heart failure. His death marked the loss of one of the sport's most revered leaders, a player whose resilience and determination embodied the values of his era. Reed's career was defined not only by his talent, but also by his grit, most famously exemplified during Game 7 of the 1970 NBA Finals. Despite a severe leg injury, he limped onto the court, inspiring his New York Knicks teammates to secure their first championship. His passing was a poignant reminder of the physical toll professional athletes endure and the lasting impact of their perseverance. The immediate response to Reed's death was an outpouring of tributes from the basketball world. The New York Knicks, the NBA community, and countless fans reflected on his contributions to the game, both as a player and a mentor. His leadership extended beyond the court, as he later became a coach and an executive, helping shape the next generation of basketball talent. His loss was particularly felt in New York, where he remains a legendary figure, synonymous with the team's golden era. Reed's death reinforced his legendary status, reminding fans and historians of the sacrifices made by athletes in the pursuit of greatness. His resilience in the face of adversity mirrored the struggles of his time, an era when black athletes were gaining prominence in professional sports while also navigating racial and societal challenges. His legacy serves as a testament to the power of perseverance, leadership, and teamwork. In death, as in life, Reed continues to be immortalized through the memories of fans, archival footage of his legendary Game 7 entrance, and the continued reverence of the Knicks organization. His contributions are celebrated in Hall of Fame exhibits, documentaries, and retrospectives that highlight his role in shaping basketball history. More than just an athlete, Willis Reed remains a symbol of courage and determination, embodying the enduring spirit of sportsmanship and resilience. Peter Brown, a versatile actor best known for his roles in classic television westerns, passed away on March 21, 2016, at the age of 80 due to complications from Parkinson's disease. His death marked the end of an era for fans of mid-20th century television, particularly those who grew up watching him in Lawman and Laredo. Brown's passing reflected the inevitable decline of the Western genre's golden age, which had once dominated American television and cinema, but gradually faded as audiences' tastes shifted toward more contemporary storytelling. In the immediate aftermath of his death, there was a wave of nostalgia from fans and industry peers who remembered Brown as a charismatic presence on screen. Though he never reached the level of superstardom enjoyed by some of his contemporaries, his contribution to the Western genre was widely acknowledged. His work in television spanned decades, and he remained a beloved figure among those who appreciated the rugged, idealized depiction of the American frontier. Brown's death did not necessarily amplify his legend, but it served as a reminder of the impact that television westerns had on American culture. His career was emblematic of a time when Hollywood portrayed the Old West as a land of justice, adventure, and moral clarity, ideals that resonated with mid-century audiences grappling with social and political changes. By the time of his passing, the Western had become more of a nostalgic relic, making Brown's contributions all the more significant to those who cherished that era of storytelling. His legacy continues through reruns of his classic shows, fan conventions, and the enduring appreciation of Western enthusiasts. Like many actors of his time, Brown is immortalized through the characters he portrayed, his image preserved in the annals of television history. The Western genre may have evolved, but figures like Peter Brown ensure that its influence lingers, reminding us of an era when tales of honor and adventure captivated the imagination of millions. His passing is a reflection of how entertainment history is preserved, not just through its biggest stars, but through the many actors who helped shape the cultural landscape of their time. Chuck Barris, the enigmatic television producer, game show host, and self-proclaimed CIA assassin, passed away on March 21, 2017, at the age of 87 due to natural causes. His death marked the end of a career that blurred the lines between entertainment and self-mythology. Best known for creating The Dating Game, The Newlywed Game, and the irreverent The Gong Show, Barris was a pioneer of reality-based television, a genre that would later dominate the media landscape. Barris's passing was a quiet contrast to the wild and unconventional career he led. Coming of age in the mid-20th century television industry, he tapped into America's growing appetite for unscripted, unpredictable entertainment. His shows, particularly The Gong Show, reflected the era's shifting cultural values, embracing absurdity, celebrating everyday people, and poking fun at the very idea of fame. His career also reflected the increasing commercialization of entertainment, where audience engagement and ratings became paramount. The immediate impact of his death was a resurgence of interest in his legacy, particularly his controversial autobiography, Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, in which he claimed to have worked as a CIA assassin while producing television. While widely dismissed as fiction, the book and its subsequent film adaptation cemented Barris as a figure of intrigue, adding a layer of mystery to his already unorthodox career. His death reignited debates over whether he was merely an eccentric showman or a cultural prophet who foresaw the rise of reality television as we know it today. Barris's passing did not shift history's trajectory, but it underscored the ways in which entertainment and reality can intertwine, sometimes indistinguishably. His shows, once dismissed as lowbrow television, are now recognized as precursors to modern reality programming, demonstrating his lasting influence on the industry. His willingness to push boundaries and embrace the bizarre ensured that his name remains part of television history. Ultimately, Barris is immortalized through his work, his mythology, and the ongoing influence of reality television. His career serves as a reminder of how pop culture icons can craft their own legacies, sometimes as much through fiction as through fact. Whether as a TV genius, a provocateur, or an elaborate storyteller, Barris left behind a legacy that continues to captivate audiences, proving that entertainment, at its best, is as much about imagination as it is about reality. Barney Martin, best known for his portrayal of Morty Seinfeld on the iconic sitcom Seinfeld, passed away on March 21, 2005, at the age of 82. His death was the result of cancer, a disease that had afflicted him in his later years. As a character actor and comedian, Martin's passing marked the loss of a performer who, while not always in the spotlight, played a significant role in shaping television comedy. Martin's career was a testament to the evolving nature of entertainment in the 20th century. A former police officer, he transitioned into show business, first as a comedy writer and later as an actor. His ability to adapt and thrive in different roles reflected the era's changing attitudes toward entertainment, where comedic talent was increasingly valued in both television and film. His most famous role as Jerry Seinfeld's father resonated with audiences, embodying the classic sitcom parent, opinionated, humorous, and deeply devoted to his family. His character Morty became a fan favorite, with memorable storylines and witty exchanges that contributed to Seinfeld's status as one of the greatest sitcoms of all time. The immediate impact of Martin's death was a wave of tributes from fans and colleagues who recognized his contributions to television. While he was not a household name like some of his Seinfeld co-stars, his performance left a lasting impression, particularly among those who appreciated the show's dry, observational humor. His passing was another reminder of the fleeting nature of fame in the entertainment industry. While sitcoms can make characters immortal, the actors themselves remain human, subject to time and mortality. In a broader sense, Martin's death underscores the way comedy and television serve as cultural markers of their time. Seinfeld, with its sharp wit and observational humor, defined a generation, and Martin's role within it helped shape the archetype of the lovable, stubborn sitcom father. His legacy lives on through reruns and streaming, ensuring that new audiences continue to experience his comedic talents. Ultimately, Martin's passing highlights the way entertainers are remembered, not always as towering figures in history, but as integral parts of cultural touchstones that endure long after their lifetimes. Through art, television, and the fond memories of fans, his contributions remain an enduring part of comedy's rich history. Ludmila Cherina, a French ballerina, actress, and choreographer, passed away on March 21, 2004, at the age of 85. Her death was natural, attributed to age-related causes. Cherina's long and illustrious career in ballet had been marked by a deep commitment to the art form, as well as a pioneering spirit that helped elevate the profile of French ballet internationally. Her passing, though peaceful, marked the end of an era in the world of dance, as she had been one of the last living icons from the golden age of mid-20th century ballet. Cherina's death, while not shrouded in the dramatic circumstances that often surround the passing of famous figures, carried profound significance in the context of the cultural history of ballet. Her career spanned decades, during which she worked with renowned choreographers like Serge Liffard and appeared in major productions such as La Belle au Bois Dormant and Coppelia. She had been part of a movement that transformed ballet from its traditional roots into a more modern and expressive form, influencing generations of dancers who followed her. The immediate consequences of her passing were felt in the ballet world, particularly in France, where she was regarded as a national treasure. Tributes poured in from across the globe, honoring her contributions to dance and to the cultural landscape of France. Her death also underscored the changing dynamics within the world of ballet, where newer stars and styles increasingly dominated the stage. In the broader context of history, Cherina's death highlighted the ongoing conversation around the preservation of cultural legacies. How do we immortalize figures who dedicated their lives to the arts? The answer often lies in the institutions they shaped, the works they left behind, and the memories carried by those they inspired. In Cherina's case, her legacy lives on through the performances of the dancers who continue to revere her contributions and through the continuing prominence of French ballet. Her passing was a reminder of how the arts, while ever evolving, are anchored in the legacies of those who paved the way. Mortality, in this sense, does not diminish power or memory, but rather emphasizes the fragility and beauty of human creativity and expression. Through art, literature, and commemoration, the echoes of figures like Ludmila Cherina continue to shape our collective understanding of culture and history. Dack Rambo, an American actor best known for his roles in Dynasty and The Guns of Will Sonnet, died on March 21, 1994, at the age of 52. His death was the result of complications from AIDS, a disease that tragically affected many people during the 1980s and early 1990s. Rambo, who had publicly disclosed his diagnosis in 1992, passed away just 2 years later, making his death not only a personal loss, but also a reflection of the broader health crisis that was sweeping the nation at the time. Rambo's passing occurred during a period when the AIDS epidemic was deeply shaping American society. The stigma surrounding the disease, combined with the lack of widespread understanding, created an environment of fear and discrimination. Rambo's decision to publicly acknowledge his illness was a brave and significant move, one that contributed to the slowly changing narrative around AIDS and its sufferers. At the time of his death, many celebrities were still silent about their HIV/AIDS diagnoses, but Rambo's openness helped humanize the crisis and drew attention to the struggles of those living with the virus. The immediate consequences of Rambo's death were felt particularly in the entertainment industry, where he had been a familiar face on television. Tributes poured in from co-stars and fans alike, many of whom remembered him not only for his work, but for his courage in addressing a topic that was still largely taboo. His death highlighted the ongoing fight against the disease and emphasized the need for greater public awareness and compassion for those affected. Rambo's passing in many ways amplified his legacy, especially in terms of his contribution to the conversation about AIDS. While he may not have been as widely known as some other figures who succumbed to the disease, his openness and visibility during the epidemic made him a symbol of the fight for dignity and respect for those living with HIV/AIDS. His death, therefore, became a part of the larger narrative of a generation grappling with a health crisis that would come to define an era. Through Rambo's death, we are reminded of humanity's complex relationship with mortality, particularly in the face of a disease that was once misunderstood and stigmatized. His legacy, like many others, is immortalized through the stories told about him, the characters he portrayed, and the courage he displayed in the face of adversity. Anthony Steele, an English actor and singer, passed away on March 21, 2001, at the age of 79 from natural causes related to age. Steele, who had a promising start in British cinema during the 1950s, starred in films like The Royal African Rifles and The High Commissioner. His career, however, was marred by personal struggles and changing trends in the film industry. Despite these challenges, his death marked the end of an era for a certain type of British leading man, a suave, handsome figure who once epitomized a certain brand of post-war optimism. Steele's passing reflected a broader shift in the entertainment world, particularly in British cinema, where the kind of films he starred in, melodramas and war films, were losing their popularity to new, more experimental forms of cinema. His death symbolized the end of a certain era in film, where the charming and dashing leading man was being overshadowed by more modern, complex portrayals of characters. This transition mirrored the social changes of the 1960s and 1970s, when British cinema embraced a more gritty, realistic approach to storytelling. The immediate consequences of Steele's passing were felt within the British film community, where he was remembered as one of the last representatives of a bygone era. Though his fame had waned by the time of his death, tributes from co-stars and fans acknowledged the significant role he had played in the formative years of post-war British cinema. Steele's death was a reminder of how quickly the entertainment industry can evolve, leaving behind once prominent stars in favor of new trends. Steele's death did not dramatically shift the trajectory of history, but it did serve to highlight the rapid pace at which both film and society were changing. His passing was a reflection of the way public memory often connects certain figures to specific periods in history, and how, over time, these figures can fade into obscurity as new generations redefine what is celebrated in culture. Through Steele's legacy, we are reminded of the fleeting nature of fame and the ways in which we immortalize those who define particular cultural moments. His death reinforced the idea that, while individual lives may end, their contributions to art and culture continue to resonate, preserved in the films, memories, and commemoration that keep their legacies alive. Ernie Wise, one half of the legendary British comedy duo Morecambe and Wise, passed away on March 21, 1999, at the age of 73 after suffering from heart failure. Wise's death marked the end of an era for British comedy, as his partnership with Eric Morecambe had shaped the landscape of television and popular entertainment in the UK for decades. The two were known for their slapstick humor, impeccable timing, and endearing personalities, making them one of the most beloved pairs in British television history. The circumstances of his death, following a long battle with health issues, underscored the fragility of life, particularly for someone who had spent years entertaining others with the appearance of boundless energy. His passing was deeply felt by the public, who had grown up watching him on television. Wise's death came at a time when the comedic landscape of the UK was changing, with new forms of humor emerging. While his death did not shock in the same way that a violent or sudden death might, it marked a bittersweet moment in the cultural history of British television. The immediate consequences of Wise's passing were seen in the outpouring of tributes from fans, colleagues, and the media, many of whom celebrated his contributions to comedy and the immense popularity of Morecambe and Wise. The duo had been a cornerstone of British humor, with their Christmas specials becoming a much-anticipated tradition. In the wake of his death, his legacy only seemed to grow as new generations discovered the timeless appeal of his work. While Wise's death did not dramatically shift the trajectory of history, it did amplify his legend. His partnership with Eric Morecambe became one of the most iconic in comedy history, and their sketches remain staples of British television. Through their humor, they captured the spirit of post-war Britain and its aspirations, blending warmth with wit in a way that transcended political or social upheaval. Ernie Wise's passing reflects humanity's complex relationship with mortality. In the world of entertainment, death often serves as a final punctuation mark on a legacy. Yet it is through memory and commemoration that a figure like Wise endures. His death did not mark the end of his influence. Rather, it cemented his place in the pantheon of British comedy, ensuring that his contribution to laughter and joy would never be forgotten. Through art, literature, and continued celebrations of Morecambe and Wise, his spirit lives on. Harry H. Corbett, a beloved British actor best known for his role as the long-suffering Harold Steptoe in the sitcom Steptoe and Son, died on March 21, 1982, at the age of 57. His death was sudden and unexpected, attributed to a heart attack. Corbett's passing came just as he was experiencing a resurgence in his career, following his iconic portrayal of the character that had made him a household name in the UK. His sudden death left a nation in shock and mourning, as he had been a central figure in British television for nearly 2 decades. The circumstances of Corbett's death reflected the pressures of his era. The 1970s and early 1980s had been a time of transformation in British television, with Steptoe and Son breaking ground with its unique blend of social commentary and dark humor. However, the constant pressure of public scrutiny and the demands of his profession weighed heavily on Corbett, who had spoken openly about the toll his fame had taken on his personal life. His unexpected death, in a way, mirrored the complexities of the celebrity culture of the time, where public figures were often expected to balance their professional and personal lives under a relentless spotlight. The immediate consequences of Corbett's passing were profound. Tributes poured in from colleagues, fans, and members of the entertainment industry, many of whom recalled his talent, dedication, and generosity. His death left a void in British television, where his portrayal of Harold Steptoe, father to the irrepressible Albert Steptoe, had resonated with audiences for years. The show's themes of class, family dynamics, and social issues were deeply entwined with the era's values, and Corbett's death marked the end of an era for a show that had captured the heart of British society. Corbett's death amplified his legend in a way, as it solidified his place as one of Britain's most memorable television actors. While his passing did not shift the trajectory of history, it ensured that his contributions to British comedy would not be forgotten. Steptoe and Son continued to be regarded as a classic, and Corbett's role in it cemented his place in the pantheon of British comedy greats. This death reflects humanity's complex relationship with mortality, as even those who bring joy and laughter to others are not immune to the frailties of life. Corbett's legacy endures not only through his iconic role, but also through the continued reverence for Steptoe and Son, a show that is remembered for its sharp wit and poignant commentary. Through the power of television, art, and public commemoration, Corbett's memory lives on, immortalized by the laughter and reflection he brought to generations of viewers.